Welcome to episode 3, and today I'm gonna teach you more about how to use Roblox Studio. So, if you remember from last episode, we learned about humanoid and functions and how they work and all that crap. So, we got a kill break, and that's cool enough. Now, let's learn about if statements, which is quite simple. So, for example, let's do a really simple if statement. So, let's clear everything in here. Okay, let's do an if statement. So, local, I don't know, test equals false. And how do we create an if statement? Firstly, you need to put if, and then your thing. So let's just do test equal false. Don't forget two equals. So there's two ways you can so let me explain what it does. But first, let's do then and then print test is false. It should print test is false. But if we stop it, the code, and let's change it from false to true, and we run it again, nothing should happen. And like that, nothing happened. So now we can exchange this even more. Let's make, instead of it being true, let's do like 0, and if test is 0, then it should play. That's good. Now we can do it. Now we can expand this if statement even more by pressing enter and doing an else in it. Test isn't correct, for example, right? And if we run it, it should say test is false. But if let's do I don't know, let's make test 1, right? Then click play. Test is correct, instead correct here. Now we can do, now that's, you might be wondering why is it an equal. Don't worry, I'll explain. But basically there's many ways you can do if statements, right? It doesn't have to be equal just means that it's the exact same no matter what. Now you can replace the first symbol with like that, and you're trying to tell the computer if test is larger than 0 or is equal to 0. Or you can do the exact opposite, and if test is smaller than 0. So for example, if we do if test -1, it should print false. The test is false, because that's what it told it to. That's because it actually isn't. It's smaller than -1. Now we can remove the equal, and this means it's less than 0, not less than or equal to. So it's still inputting the same thing. So for example, let's make this 0, right? It should print test isn't correct, which it should do. Test isn't correct. And you get the idea. And there's one last symbol, is tilde equal. This means it's not. So for example, if test is 0 and if test is not 0, then print that. If it isn't, print that. That's what it should do. So test isn't correct. That's good. Now let's take it a bit further. So let's do print test equal 0. Okay. And basically what's going on here is it should print out true. True. Because it's true. That's what's going on here. So if this thing is true, then it will print that out. You get the idea. So print test equal 0. I'm sorry explaining it too fast, but you can forget what I said before that. Now, how is this gonna help us? Oh, simple. Now you remember the kill break, right? Let's program the kill break again. So function touch head, and let's do head dot parent dot humanoid dot health equals 0, and then let's do game dot workspace dot part dot touch connect, and where is it, touch. This now that kill break should start working again. Give it a second. Yep, it immediately kills me, and that's good. Now remember that this head function could be anything. It could just be anything. Let me get another part, alright? And let's put it on top. Okay, let's name this part 2. And then make it anchored in the beginning. Now let's create another script, cause we can. There's no limiting thing. And let's make it so it waits 25 seconds and makes game.workspace.part2.anchored equals false. So what should happen is that the first brick should be up in the air for 25 seconds before it falls on the floor and gets an error cause that brick does not have a humanoid in it. We just wait and wait. Give it a second. Yeah, this might take a while. Just give it a second. And there you go. You see how it says humanoid is not a valid member of workspace. That's because it selected this part and then got the parent of it, which is workspace, and there's no humanoid in workspace, so that's what got an error. So in order to fix this, it's a really simple measure. What you could do is you can make it so that you can put an if statement in this. So for example, if hit dot parent dot humanoid. So what's going on here? Alright. Don't forget the end because you need an end. I'll explain what ends do later, but you need one. So a function needs an end and an if statement needs an end. Now what's doing here? If hit and the parent of hit, alright, and if you can find humanoid within the parent of hit, then it will do this. So now if you run it, there should be no error because the if statement failed. Oh, never mind. That's strange. Guess I did something wrong. Let's see, line 2. Humanoid is not a valid member of workspace. Okay, if hit.parent. Turns out that's wrong, but there is another way alternatively. Yes, you remember connect, right? Let's do another colon. And you can do what I call find first child. It's just a built-in thing with Roblox. So what's going on here is it gets the parent, right? And if it can find a child within parent, that's called like anything. So that's for this example, I'm using humanoid, right? If it finds a humanoid within that break, it should not do anything. Like that. You see no errors at all. In fact, we can take this step further and let's do an else statement in it. Else, ew, a brick touched me. Where's the player? Alright, so if we click on play, this brick should fall on the floor and then just immediately it should, yeah, ew, a brick touched me. Where's the player? But if I touch the brick, I die. This is just something really cool about Roblox Studio. So this is an if statement. So let's just say I print. Actually, no, that's not. But you get the idea. Now, what else can we do in the if statement? Can't really think that much, but we can do something cool about what? Let's do another if statement, for example. So let's do humanoid equals it.parent. And let's do -5. So it gets let's say the health is 100, it replaces it with 100 minus 5, which is 95. Now we click on play, and I touch this break. Alright. You see how I take 5 damage, but it has like no cooldown or anything at all, and I die quite quickly, even though I'm only taking 5 damage each time. It's a really simple solution. So let's say I want to add a cooldown. It's really simple. Let's create local cooldown equals false. So what we can do is make an if statement within this if statement. Alright. that do something like if cooldown equals I don't know, false, then make cooldown true, and wait, let's make the cooldown like uh 2 seconds. Alright, and let's click on play. Alright, now you get the idea. Basically, there's a true or false value. Alright, and it's false for now. So if I touch it, alright, that's strange. Oh wait, I know what's going on here. It's because it turned to true, but it never turned back to false. So, alright, I'll explain a bit more in more detail, but I'll show you what this does. Alright, so if I touch this, yep, you see what it will break touch me. I'll take 5 damage, and nothing happens. As you can tell, that's actually a cooldown now. So let me explain this in more detail. What it does, its cooldown is false, right? And the computer knows it's false. Now, if the cooldown is false, it immediately converts it to true, so that if this function ever happens again, it won't trigger, because everything in here is false. And then if head.parent, yep, you get the idea. So if it's true, then it sets it to true, it waits 2 seconds, and then sets back to false, which means that this event can be triggered again. And that's about it for today's episode. Hope you learned something new, and goodbye!